Kalen DeBoer, Alabama, spicy one here. Alabama 5-2, two conference losses already. One against Vanderbilt, which Nick Saban never lost to. Another one against Tennessee, which is going to sting. They're 0-2 against the state of Tennessee. The number 15 ranking is the lowest ranking in 14 years following Alabama's loss to Tennessee. That doesn't help. The last time the Tide lost 3 conference games was in 2010. Drew, I don't know if you remember that. It felt like the air had been sucked out of the Alabama program at the time, and they only did that once in the Nick Saban era. Kalen DeBoer, 42-11 as the FBS head coach. This guy is a proven winner. Here's the thing that I want to put in perspective, Drew. Nick Saban, 206-29 in his time at Alabama. He won almost 88% of the games that he participated in, coached in. They were 16-7 in the postseason. Make no mistake about it. A drop-off was going to happen. We are talking about the greatest coach of all time, not only the greatest coach, but the greatest player development coach of all time, and the greatest where it comes from talent acquisition. People just like kind of gloss over those things, like this guy woke up and every day was handed to him on a silver platter. That is not the case, and it's not been handed to Kalen DeBoer either, as we're starting to see in year one. Drew, Alabama, certainly one of the more talented teams in the country. We knew this for Kalen DeBoer was going to have some obstacles. So I guess after a rocky start here, 5-2, are you buying or are you selling the future of Kalen DeBoer at Alabama?
Well, I'm assuming the asking price is at an all-time low following these 2 losses, or did I have to grab it after the Vanderbilt game?
No, right now is a good time. This is what we call a value.
I'm buying.
Buy this.
I'm buying. And you want to know why, Cooper? Everything you just said about Nick Saban, when we came into this year, we knew, I think we talked about it on the 105 or some of these airwaves. What were our concerns? The secondary and the wide receivers. They lost a lot of combined starts. They lost a lot of veterans to the NFL draft, to the transfer portal. A lot of guys left. And I think as this season has progressed, those areas of concern have continued to pop up, and they're becoming more and more of an issue. They're relying on a lot of true freshmen in that secondary. Xavier Brown's played over 350 snaps. Red Morgan, Jalen Mbakwe, over 150 snaps. Those guys are still green, learning how to play an entire season on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, Ryan Williams, think about this. 17 years old, yes, that gets thrown out there, but he is the focal point of the Crimson Tide's offense right now. Everything goes through him. How many targets did he have this past week? It was like 18 targets or something crazy like that. I just think, to me, I thought they were going to struggle, whether it was against Western Kentucky or USF. I thought that secondary was going to struggle, and I thought it was going to be a tight game. That didn't end up happening. But then against Vanderbilt, they go down and they lose that game. To me, I mean, I'm buying the long-term outlook. Look at that recruiting class. Sitting number 2 right now. They have their quarterback of the future in Keelan Russell. Some other guys that you can plug and play, Michael Carroll. I just feel good about the long-term outlook. Dijon Lee, another one that I think is going to play as a youngster. I think might be bumpy, throughout the rest of the season, maybe next year as well. But the talent they got coming in, I feel good.
I'm buying stock, but message to Alabama fans, like, temper your expectations. The greatest of all time just walked out. He's gone. He's not there anymore. And Kalen DeBoer is going to be a very successful, winning head coach. But the days of just running the table in college football are over. Ask Georgia about that. Ask Kirby Smart about that. The game in terms of the parity is at all-time high. But, Drew, you raise up valid concerns. The receiver room is not a room that is built off of complementary pieces. There are a lot of redundant pieces there in terms of what they have. Jeremy Bernard, Kobe Prentice. You look down the line, there are a lot of guys with the same skill sets. Ryan Williams is one of the true difference makers that can do a lot of different things. The offensive line, what they bring in every year, what they brought in every year under Nick Saban, that's a hard thing to do. That's a hard thing to do year in and year out, right? So they're extremely talented. They're going to continue to be extremely talented. They have the right people in the building. This is different for Kalen DeBoer. It's different than anything he's ever seen before, week to week in the SEC. And all of this, nobody wants to hear it, but it's a great learning experience for him in year one. I'd rather it happen now than 2 years down the road. This guy has shown an ability to evolve and adapt. I think he's going to get it right. We're a huge believer in Keelan Russell as well. I like the future in Alabama, but the days of just one-dimensional dominance is over. That's not the way college football is anymore. So, that's going to be the biggest thing. It's going to be a huge adjustment here for Alabama fans. Yeah, you're going to have a really good program, but the days where you're running people out of the building week to week, I think those days are gone.
Some comments in the chat. Jalen Milroe, not the guy to run DeBoer's offense. Keelan Russell to Ryan Williams next year. Coop, do you think he could play Keelan Russell in 2025?
I think so. I mean, we're really high on the kid. I think we're probably the most convicted on him outside of Bryce Underwood. We love Tavian St. Clair, but in terms of a guy that was going to go in and play early, if you had to pick one, it'd be Keelan Russell. If you're Kalen DeBoer, is that the most ideal situation? Put it on a freshman coming off a potential 3-loss season? I don't know about that. And you know what? Jalen Milroe's getting a lot of slander, coming off these 2 losses to Vandy, which I thought he played fine. Tennessee, you can poke holes in. The guy is a dynamic, talented player. I think he's gone to Sundays after this year anyway. He's probably going to be a first-round draft pick, so be careful what you ask for, right? When you're dealing with Austin Mack or Dylan Lonergan or Ty Simpson or one of those guys, you're going to be wishing that you had Jalen Milroe back. So don't always bite the hand that feeds you there. Oh, by the way, buying stock.